What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/StoriesAboutKevin. This story's called Kevin's Troubles in Big China. A few years ago, I was an English teacher in Beijing, China, working for a well-known mid-tier English school. The requirements to actually be an English teacher at most of these places are actually pretty low. Most mid-range places are looking for people that have these three traits. 1, a native English speaker. 2, the ability to get a work visa. Mostly this means having a college degree and no criminal record. At least a low to moderate level of basic functionality. You get a wide variety of people signing up for and getting jobs like this because of these standards. And I've got stories for days about the people I met and worked with. Today's are about the Kevina who didn't quite understand the whole China aspect. Now, before I begin, I should make one thing very clear. Nobody expects every teacher who plans to only live there for 1 year to fully understand the country, its culture, and its history on day one. I knew plenty of people who had hardly learned anything about those points by the end of their time being there. However, I think it is fair to expect people to come in with at least some understanding of a few things. But then there are people like Kevina who have absolutely no idea where they are. Story 1. Nothing ever happened at Tiananmen Square or in Chinese history. This company grouped teachers who would be starting at the same time together, brought them in on flights that arrived on the same few days, put us up in the same hotel for a while, trained us together, took us on a few outings as a group. Some of these outings were work-related, but others were fun. The most memorable of these was when we went to see Tiananmen Square and the Forbidden City. We went early in the day, as there is a lot to see there. However, getting to a place extremely early doesn't keep the line to get into the square from being exceptionally long, because, China. This is made worse by the need to get past security to get in. It's all pretty standard, really. A metal detector, x-ray of your bag, maybe a glance at your ID if I recall. On the coach ride back to the hotel, we were all discussing how much fun we had. Kevina took this chance to raise a question.
Why was there so much security to get in? It's just a plaza. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
The other dozen or so of us went silent at this. She didn't know why they might be a little paranoid about who gets into Tiananmen Square. We knew we couldn't tell her because even in the few days that we'd gotten to know her, we knew that she would probably start telling random people on the street about the massacre and how it was being kept secret from them if she ever found out about it. One fellow offered a lame, "Well, it is next door to the Congress building. Maybe it's related to that," in an attempt to kill the deafening silence. She bought it, and we all went back to discussing the day, though the rest of us felt a slight unease about how much effort we would have to put in to keep her in the dark. Now, as I said, I don't think that you have to have a degree in modern Chinese history to work there or anything, but this was merely the start of ways that Kevina didn't grasp where she was. Shortly after this outing, I went back to Tiananmen Square myself to go into the tomb of Mao Zedong. My absence from breakfast was noticed. When I explained where I was, Kevina asked,
"Who's Mao?"
Mao is the guy on every single banknote in more than a few posters and billboards, which you've seen 1,000 times this week alone. The tour guide from the outing we just took had explained who he was too. Drugs are very illegal in China, though they aren't that hard to find if you know a guy. If you're caught with them, you'll probably earn a one-way ticket out of the country the next day, and might have trouble getting back in for a while. Testing positive for them is just as bad. Even an accusation that you have weed at your place can earn a severe sit-down at work. This didn't stop Kevina from inviting her friends over to her room to smoke and hotbox in her room. When her roommates, who would also likely get in endless amounts of trouble over this, brought this up, she refused to believe that the Chinese government would actually punish her for anything. Despite it coming up numerous times, she never fully understood why a police state might have so many military police officers hanging around. She also never quite got why Facebook, YouTube, Google, and Chinese language Wikipedia were censored. Story 2. The Temple of the Llamas. Just a little north and east of Tiananmen was a Tibetan Buddhist temple known as Lama Temple in English. It's a beautiful place that everybody ought to visit. I am sure that most people reading this can put 2 and 2 together and figure out what a llama is in the context of the temple. But a kavina has got to kavina. Somebody put pictures on social media of their outing to the temple, including spelling the name of the temple out several times, prompting this gem of a reply.
You mean like llamas?
Pay no attention to the difference in spellings. Pay no attention to the llama being a South American animal and our being in China. Kavina was now convinced that there was a magical temple dedicated to those cute, furry camels in the center of Beijing. Another teacher I knew informed me that she was somewhat disappointed when she went and learned that it was dedicated to boring old Buddhist monks. Not a single llama to be found. Story 3. Intercultural miscommunication. Kavina grasped that the waitstaff at most restaurants didn't speak much English, if any, but she didn't know what to do with this information. The last time I was out in a group with her, she took offense to somebody's meal coming with the wrong side dish, while the actual owner of this meal was pretty okay with this. Kavina saw this as the crime against humanity that it was. Over the objections of the guy who was actively trying to eat his meal, Kavina summoned the server. As you've probably guessed by now, Kavina didn't speak a word of Chinese. While this might cause most people to pause before they summon a person who doesn't speak English over to discuss a problem, she is not most people. She started frantically gesturing to the offending side dish while shouting, "No, no, no!" before pointing at her side dish, the same as what was initially ordered, and shouting, "Yes, yes, yes!" just loudly enough to draw attention to our table from everybody else in the restaurant. You could see the tidal wave of embarrassment rolling over the rest of us. The server, watching this wide-eyed and probably wondering what kind of demonic possession would cause a person to act like this, summoned the manager. This fellow did speak some English and got to participate in a 3-way debate over if they should or should not bring the fellow who had gotten rice instead of fries a free large order of fries. Eventually, both he and the allegedly offended bloke who ordered the fries gave up on getting her to stop. I was told that she was rather proud of how that turned out when it came up again later. This sort of thing happened all the time, according to my sources. One event I saw video evidence of involved her shouting over the phone to the staff of a local McDonald's who were taking too long with a delivery. At one point, she just kept repeating the name of the street she was on in an increasingly exasperated tone. As I speak Chinese, I can assure you that the voices coming out of the phone were all expressing their extreme confusion. However, the most facepalm worthy of these incidents was during our training. During one session, which was not limited to our intake group, she came to know a couple of teachers who were actually from China. Upon seeing both of these women, who didn't resemble each other much at all, stand side by side, she asked very sincerely,
"Y'all two sisters?"
She was surprised to find out they were not. This isn't everything that happened that would fit in the sub, but I think it paints most of the picture. She is definitely in the top 3 Kavinas I've ever known. That is not okay. Oh my god, that last one made me cringe really, really bad. Oh yes, two Chinese women. They must be sisters. This story's called Just Realized I Work with a Kavina, and it sucks. Today, it hit me. I work with a Kavina. This woman is not someone who does stupid crap some of the time and is otherwise a normal, rational human being. No, she is a true Kavina. One of my coworkers pointed out that she would qualify as a female Steve Urkel, complete with the annoying voice and laugh. I have so many stories, but I don't have the time or patience to list them all here. So the following is a highlight reel of the crap that she has pulled. 1. So where we work as medical coders, we all use Microsoft Excel as part of our job. This is just the way our facility does things. Due to the volume of cases that were being seen by our providers at one facility, our boss said, to save time, only verify that a progress note has been written and put down the evaluation management code that the provider gives you and move on to the next patient. This sounds simple and really difficult to mess up, right? Ha! She manages to screw this up constantly. How? I do not know. But she does. My poor coworkers who get texts from her on a regular basis about changes that get made want to strangle her at this point, mainly because her texts are convoluted and messy, containing way too much irrelevant data with not enough relevant data. 2. The other day, she wanted to make some eggs for herself in our company microwave. Wait, what? Now, considering this is Kavina we are talking about, this is a disaster in the making. She decided she wanted to make the eggs in a small mug. The eggs exploded, so now the entire office smells like undercooked eggs. We live in a small space, open office plan, so if someone brings in anything that smells, everyone will be smelling it. So now, in addition to being unable to cook eggs in a microwave correctly, she does not clean up her mess properly. Just a quick swipe with a dry paper towel and back to her desk with her undercooked eggs she goes. The microwave was not cleaned properly by her, so when the next person used the microwave, the office started smelling of eggs again. One coworker, whose job does not include cleaning, had to clean it up during the day, and he gave it a good cleaning. Another coworker, whose job also does not include cleaning, had to go over and get some Clorox wipes from our supervisor to clean the counter and Keurig machine that is right there. Our cleaning crew, who comes in after we leave, had to deep clean the microwave by scrubbing it down with Clorox wipes, wiping that up with clean water, and microwaving a wet paper towel to get rid of the odor of eggs because it was baked into the microwave that badly. 3. She got into a minor fender bender in the morning on her way to work a couple of days ago. What she says happened is that she stopped at a red light and the person who was in front of her backed up and hit her. She claims that she normally stops at least a car length behind people, and the one time she doesn't, she gets hit. Oh, and the way she was describing it, she made it seem that the entire front of her car was gone, or her car was totaled. You can barely see a scratch on her car. I know this one is not particularly Kevin-like, but it is more of a demonstration of her personality. And she is now claiming that she needs to get her car fixed this week during a pandemic. I and another coworker think she is subtly trying to change her schedule so she won't have to work alone. This is a new development and I don't know what I'm going to do. 4. She got a part-time job first as a Burger King manager. Within 2 weeks, she got fired from Burger King. Then she got a part-time job with Pizza Hut as a delivery driver. Within 2 weeks, she got fired. Again. No idea what she did to get fired, but she did. From fast food. 5. She has gotten catfished by scammers. I believe that she is up to number 3 or 4 right now. See, she was married and recently divorced. That is a whole other drama. But the point is, she is lonely and wants to get married again. The issue is that she is using online dating sites like Plenty of Fish and OkCupid and not vetting any of the guys that she meets on there. She has sent money to these guys. Even with all her coworkers saying you are being scammed,
She keeps going, well, I don't know. I really love him, and I know he loves me,
etc., etc. The most recent one, she went to the airport to meet him at 11 at night. This is a guy she has been talking to on the phone for 2 to 3 months. Not FaceTiming or video chatting with, just talking. Fortunately for her physical well-being at least, he did not show up at the airport because he missed his flight because he was drunk. She still refused to believe he was a scammer until he asked her for money. We think she still doesn't believe he was a scammer. 6. She forgot our work address, a location that she has been working at for close to a year, an address that she has in her phone, a phone that has not been replaced. She couldn't figure out how to Google the address apparently, so she asked me and another coworker for the address. The other coworker told her, and the response,
are you sure?
7. She was so proud of herself for getting toilet paper last week. Why she felt the need to go out and buy it and then brag not only to her coworkers, but our boss? This was in response to the insane toilet paper shortage in the US right now. I don't think she even needed it. Those stupid toilet paper jokes, they were so annoying because all they did was fuel the panic buying. But yeah, you guys need to make sure when you hire people that they've at least graduated kindergarten, but that's just my opinion. This story's called The Time Kevin Almost Deep Sixed a Couple. I have a friend who is not a Kevin. Let's call him Bill. Bill is a decent chap, but he absolutely hates losing at anything. Him, myself, and several others, but not Kevin, had a stint where we played board games. It was fun, but whenever Bill started losing the upper hand, he would cheat to win the upper hand back. Things like rolling the dice, snatching them up, and swearing that he rolled high, or appointing himself the banker and handing out extra money to himself. Kevin and I were out having lunch. He asked me how the weekly game had gone, and I told him what Bill had done. We had these conversations every now and then, because he thought it was funny whenever Bill tried to pull something. Bill's girlfriend happened to pop in when we were finishing up. We exchanged pleasantries and I introduced her to Kevin as Nancy, not her name, who was dating Bill. Instead of saying hi or nice to meet you or hell, anything else at all, he opens up with, "Oh, he's the cheater!" The look on her face was pretty indescribable. To this day, I still can't put words to it, but it was a combination of disbelief, embarrassment, and rage. I managed to clear it up, and Nancy was well aware of how competitive Bill could be. He could never understand why, whenever a new Pokemon game came out, why she always had a cute lineup instead of one that maximizes type damage, IV, EV, and nature. Afterwards, she did call me up and said that she never wanted to see Kevin again, and was thankful that I never brought him over for game night. Oh, well, that could have ended really badly, but I'm glad she was able to, be talked off the ledge. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.